welcome back to my channel. Just in case you don't know who I am, I'm Katie, but you can also call me Dinky, and welcome to the world of Dinky. Now, I am going to be carrying on with my true crime series, and in today's video I'm going to be focusing on Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, as I've said in other videos, if this is not your cup of tea, then please do check out my other videos. I have lots of vlogs on there, a few disability, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome awareness videos, and a few beauty videos as well in between. I'm sure there's something for everybody. But if you want to know more about Jeffrey Dahmer, then you know what to do. Stay to the end. And don't forget, if you do enjoy watching this video, don't forget to click on the like button and share for other people who may enjoy this subject. And don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Jeffrey Dahmer was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on the 21st of May 1960, and he was born to his parents Lionel and Joyce Dahmer. And he was an energetic and happy child, and this carried on until he was about 4 years old, when he had to have a double hernia surgery, and this seemed to have had like a lasting effect on him. He became increasingly withdrawn following the birth of his younger brother and the fact that the family moved regularly. By his early teens, he was quite disengaged, and he was tense, and he was largely friendless. And he claims his compulsions towards necrophilia and murder started around the age of 14. But really, it seems like it was a breakdown of his parents' marriage that really, the acrimonious separation seemed to be the catalyst in the turning point in his life. You know, this is when he started turning his thoughts into actions. And by the time of his first killing, Dahmer's alcohol consumption had spun out of control. And he did drop out of Ohio State University after a while. And then his recently remarried father had insisted that he enlisted in the army. So Dahmer enlisted late December 1978 and was posted to Germany shortly after enlisting. Jeffrey Dahmer's drinking problem persisted, and in early 1981 the army discharged him. The German authorities later investigated possible connections between Dahmer and murders that took place in the area during that time, but it is believed that he did not take any more victims while serving in the armed forces. Following his discharge, Dahmer returned back home to Ohio and arrested later that year for disorderly conduct, and this prompted his father to send Dahmer to live with his grandmother in Wisconsin. But his alcohol problem continued, and he was arrested again the following summer for indecent exposure, and he was arrested once again in 1986 when two boys accused him of masturbating in front of them, and he received a 1-year probationary sentence. Like usual, I'm not going to go into every murder victim case because there's too many, but I would do the ones that stood out to me more. And he murdered 17 men between 1978 and 1991. And he was careful to select victims on the fringes of society who were often itinerant or borderline criminal. And this made their disappearances less noticeable and reducing the likelihood of his capture. He lured them into his home with promises of money or sex, and then he would strangle them to death. And he engaged in sex acts and took photographs as souvenirs. The first murder after graduating high school in June 1978, and he picks up a hitchhiker, Stephen Hicks, and took him home to his parents' house. And Dahmer proceeded to get the young man to drink, and when Hicks tried to leave, Dahmer killed him by striking him on the head and then strangling him with a barbell. Dahmer then dismembered the corpse and packed the body parts into plastic bags and buried them behind his parents' home. He later exhumed the remains and he crushed the bones with a hedge hammer and then scattered them across a wooden ravine. And it wasn't until September 1987 when he next took his next victim. Only after Dahmer killed another 2 victims at his grandmother's home, she tired of his late night drinkingness and just late nights in general, although she did not have any knowledge of his other activities, and she forced him to move out of the premises in 1985. In September 1989, Dahmer had a very lucky escape. He had an encounter with a 50-year-old Malaysian boy, which resulted in charges of sexual exploitation and second-degree sexual assault for Dahmer. He did plead guilty, claiming that the boy had appeared to be much older. While awaiting sentencing for a sexual assault case, Dahmer again put his grandmother's basement to gruesome use. In March 1989, he lured, drugged, strangled, sodomized, photographed, dismembered and disposed of Anthony Sayers, an aspiring model. At his trial for child molestation in May 1989, Dahmer was the model of contrition, arguing eloquently in his own defense about how he had seen the errors of his ways and that his arrest marked a turning point in his life. His defense counsel argued he needed treatment, not incarceration, and the judge agreed, handing down a 1-year prison sentence on daily release. So he would go out to work at his job through the day, and then he would have to return to prison at the night time, as well as a 5-year probationary sentence. Years later, in an interview with CNN, Dahmer stated that he wrote a letter to the court that had issued the sentence, requesting psychological help before his parole. However, he was granted early release by the judge after only serving 10 months of his sentence. And then he briefly lived with his grandmother again, which does not appear to have added to his body count. Over the following 2 years, Dahmer's victim count has accelerated, bringing his total from 4 to 17. And he developed rituals as he progressed, experimented with chemical means of disposal, and often consuming the flesh of his victims. Dahmer, who also attempted crude lobotomies, drilling into victims' skulls while they were still alive, and injecting them with muriatic acid. His killing spree had ended when he was arrested on July 22nd of 1991, and the body parts were found in the refrigerator, and Polaroid photographs of his victims became inextricably associated with his notorious killing sprees. And Milwaukee police officers were led to Dahmer when they picked up Tracy Edwards, who was a 32-year-old African-American man who was wandering the streets with handcuffs dangling from his wrists. And they decided to investigate the man's claims that a weird dude drugged and restrained him. They arrived at Dahmer's place, and there he calmly offered to get the keys for the handcuffs, which seemed to me like he was kind of wanted to get caught by this point. Edwards claimed the knife Dahmer had threatened him with was in the bedroom, and when the officer went in to corroborate the story, he noticed Polaroid of photographs of dismembered bodies just laying around, and Dahmer was subdued by the officers. The subsequent searches revealed a head in the refrigerator, and there were 3 more heads in the freezer, a catalogue of other horrors, including preserved skulls, jars containing genitalia, and an extensive gallery of macabre Polaroid photographs of the victims. Dahmer's trial began in January 1992. As the majority of his victims were African American, there were considerable racial tensions, so strict security precautions were taken, including an 8-foot barrier of bulletproof glass that separated Dahmer from the gallery, and the inclusion of only one African American on the jury provoked further unrest, but ultimately contained and short-lived. Lionel and his second wife had attended the court throughout, so they were there from day one to the end. Dahmer originally pleaded not guilty to all the charges, despite confessing to the police of the killings, but he did eventually change his plea to guilty by virtue of insanity. In his defense, offered gruesome details of his behavior as proof that only someone insane could commit such terrible acts. But the jury believed the prosecution's assertion that Dahmer was fully aware of his acts, and that his acts were evil, and he chose to commit them anyway. On February 15th, 1992, jury returned after approximately 10 hours of deliberation to find him guilty on all counts, but that he was sane to all counts. And he was sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms in prison, with a 16th term tacked in May. And Dahmer adjusted to life in prison quite well. He was initially kept away from the other prisoners, in general population, but he managed to convince the authorities to allow him to integrate more fully with the other inmates. And he found religion in the form of books and photos that were sent by his father. Dahmer was granted permission by the Columbia Correctional Institution to be baptized by a local pastor. Dahmer was killed on November 28, 1996 by his fellow in prison inmate Christopher Scarver. In accordance with his inclusion in regular work details, Dahmer was assigned to work with 2 other convicted murderers, Scarver and Jesse Anderson. After they'd been left alone to complete their tasks, guards returned to find that Scarver had brutally beaten both men with a metal bar from the prison weight room, and Dahmer was pronounced dead after approximately 1 hour. Anderson succumbed to his injuries a few days later. In 2015, Scarver spoke to the New York Post about his reasons for killing Dahmer, and here he alleged that he was disturbed by not only by Dahmer's crimes, but by a habit that Dahmer had developed of fashioning severe limbs from the prison food to antagonize the other inmates. And I think he did this with Anderson. And he was tormented by Dahmer and Anderson during their work detail. Scarver said he confronted Dahmer about his crimes before beating the two men to death. And he also claims that the prison guards allowed him for the murder to happen by leaving them alone. So I guess he kind of got what he deserved. And I can't imagine how disgusted the other inmates were by them taunting them, doing the things with the food, and he was just a gruesome man, wasn't he? He was a monster. Anyway, that. He is dead. He can't hurt anybody else. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I'm sorry if it seemed it came to an abrupt end, but really that was it. There was nothing else to say because, you know, he got killed. And if you want to know more detail about the crimes, but about the victims, then please do look online or read books. You will find more information. And if you have enjoyed it, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I appreciate that. And don't forget to share, because there are a lot of you out there who are interested in true crime. And don't forget to subscribe. And I do try and upload on a Sunday, but I am trying to plan maybe have an upload on another day as well. A bit more laid back, something totally different to true crime. So I'll keep you updated on that. Check out my links down below. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And thank you for watching, and take care. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.